One of the most important lessons that I learned about drawing is here in this book. When I was in art school, I knew that it was a good thing to look at other artists, but the thing is, I wasn't really looking. There's a big difference between looking at other artists' work and really studying the drawing. Let's take a look at our good friend Rembrandt. Rembrandt being an old master, I think a lot of people do understand why he's an artist you'd want to be looking at, but I find that so much of the time, people just look at his paintings. I mean, don't get me wrong. These are amazing paintings, and if you ever have an opportunity to see a Rembrandt painting in real life, do it. It's a bucket list item for a lot of artists. It's so exciting. There's plenty to learn from a Rembrandt painting. But I find that a lot of people, it doesn't occur to them to look at his drawings. And I'm not talking about the drawings and etchings that are incredibly intricate and fully detailed. But you know something? I got something better. You're looking for a drawing that looks something like that. When you get to see a drawing that's barely finished, this is where the learning happens. I really think that the most difficult stage in a drawing is the very beginning, that first initial quick gesture drawing. We have to know how much of a blobby mess that initial gesture has to start as. Look at what a mess this is. A lot of us, if we did a drawing like this one, we probably would say, wow, that's really childish, or it looks like a gigantic blob. But the thing is, drawings have to start that way. A lot of people get really frustrated when they're doing, say, 2-minute gesture drawings, and they say to me, well, it looks so bad. Of course it looks bad. You only had 2 minutes to draw it. But the thing is, for me, every drawing, no matter how much time I spend on it, needs to start with a gesture, something that really quickly sums up exactly what it is I'm trying to draw. Oh, wait, not that one. That one's too good. Let's find one that's really a mess. This drawing has 3 figures in it, and you can see that 2 of them are pretty dark. This is the figure I really want you guys to look at. Look at this figure. Barely there. It's just a couple strokes. But the thing is, you guys know that's a figure. You may not know everything about it, but it's just like, what, 20 strokes to show that there's a person there? My thought is that a lot of us are afraid to make marks like this, which are total mess. But the thing is, if Rembrandt had to start his drawings like this, it probably means you do as well. People think about the old masters and they say, wow, they're so incredible. Look at their extraordinary work. What people aren't looking at when they're learning drawing, they're not looking at the mess ups. They're not looking at the drawings that have so many mistakes, because the thing about looking at a drawing is that nothing gets covered up. If you have a painting and you make a million mistakes, ultimately all those mistakes get covered up. You never get to see them. But see, in a drawing, everything's visible. All the mess ups, they're all here. So when you're looking for drawings to analyze, take a look at ones like this. You can see in this spread that we have a couple of these heads that are a little bit more refined. But look at this figure. That is super blobby. Don't try to tell me this is a good-looking figure. It's not. It's a big blob. That's where he starts. And it's important to note, it's not going to stay a blob forever. It just begins that way. And really, drawing is a series of tweaks. You tweak and tweak until you get closer to what it is you want to do. I think sometimes there's this misconception that a drawing has to look good the whole way through. I would say most of the time, nothing looks good. So that's the thing about learning drawing, is most people are not looking at the scrappy, blobby strokes that we see Rembrandt doing at the beginning of a drawing. Most people are looking at the drawing at a much later stage when he's had a lot of time to resolve things and make multiple passes over it. And then the other really big lesson that I learned is the importance of play in drawing. A lot of people ask me, how do I get more confident? How do I make a drawing that looks like it has a real boldness and energy to it? A big part of it is really being loose with yourself. So if you really look at the marks in a Rembrandt drawing, take a second and just forget you're looking at a figure. Let's just analyze the marks. A lot of his drawings are done in ink wash, and it's perfect because look at the range of marks. None of them are the same length. You can see some are very wide, some are a lot thinner, and some are barely there. And so if you look at a Rembrandt drawing, what you will see is a diversity of marks. You will never see a Rembrandt drawing where the line sits still. So check this out. Oh, this is a good one. All right, here we have people, and they're fairly well articulated. You know what's going on here. But here's the good stuff. Look at this top. Look at this stroke. It's so out of control. And then look at the top. I mean, that practically looks like an abstract drawing. Rembrandt's clearly not an abstract artist, but in terms of the marks he was willing to make, these are absolutely wonderful abstractions. Oh, wait, oh my God. This one's awesome. Check this out. We have particular parts that are pretty well articulated, and then he goes insane. It's like, yeah, all over the page. He's making these marks up here, and they're super loose. He knows how to draw. But you know something? He wasn't scared to put down marks that really just felt like not much was going on. To me, a sign of somebody who really knows how to draw is if I look at the drawings and I can see that they're willing to make the blobs. It takes guts to make blobs. Look at this big scene of people at the bottom. There's so many people in here, maybe at least 15. Look at this one spot. It's just all these circles. But you know what he's so good at? Rembrandt was so good at drawing giant groups of figures and getting them to really flow. Often when you're first getting started with drawing, you are just drawing a single figure at a time. And to draw a big group of people and make them feel congruent, like they're really together and there's some sort of dynamic between all of them, that's what Rembrandt did, which was just so astonishing that he didn't just do the gesture of one figure. He's doing a gesture of the group of figures. And that's where all of that play and mark that goes across and above the sides of the people, that's how you make a group. Look at this giant swath of ink wash marks. This is an artist who knows what they are doing. There's a real confidence in this stroke. I always feel like whenever I look at a drawing, I can tell if the artist feels insecure about their drawing skills. It's almost like you look at the drawing and the drawing is apologizing that it exists. And you look at a Rembrandt drawing, I mean, he was so in control of what he was doing, and that confidence that it exudes is so awesome. Stop looking at those finished drawings, stop looking at those paintings, because the secret to drawing, it's in here.